How far would you push the quiet kid until he snaps? Jackson Mills was this weird kid in my class who always had his hood up, covering half of his face and earbuds in his ears. Music would be blasting so loudly that I could hear his music sitting 2 desks to his right. Apparently he had this condition where noise bothered him too much, so music was the only thing that calmed him down at school. I often wondered if he was faking that claim just so he could have his earbuds in all the time, and I wasn't the only one who thought that either. I would often hear my classmates whispering about it, but everyone was too scared to mess with Jackson. Until we got a new substitute halfway through the semester. Mr. Delaware was this huge, beefy guy who obviously hated kids and lived to make our lives miserable. I hated him, but then he started targeting Jackson. It started off small. At first he thought Jackson was just a disrespectful kid who didn't participate in class, but then he learned that Jackson always had earbuds in, so he started messing with the poor kid more. Sometimes he'd bump into Jackson's desk, knocking his books off of it. Other times he'd get brave enough to yank Jackson's hood back. Through it all, Jackson didn't say a word. He ignored the bullying and continued doodling on his notebook. I was amazed at the restaurant Jackson was showing. Then one day, I could tell Mr. Delaware was just done with Jackson. He started yelling at the kid from an inch away. He obviously didn't understand the importance of personal space. "What if I just take your earbuds?" he snarled. "In fact, I'm going to make a rule that earbuds are not allowed in my classroom." He yelled that last part, but Jackson didn't react. The teacher reached for Jackson and I leaped to my feet, fear filling me. "Don't!" I yelled. He jerked away from Jackson and glared at me. "Why are you interrupting me?" he demanded. I hesitated for a second before saying, "I just don't think it's a good idea to be bullying him. In fact, there's a no-tolerance policy for bullying." "Shut up and sit down or get out of my classroom," Mr. Delaware snapped. I sat down and slammed my lips shut. He reached for Jackson again and ripped the earbuds away from his ears, tossing them on the floor. I knew what he was about to do before he did it. I rose to my feet again with a warning on my lips when his foot slammed down on the earbuds, instantly crushing them. Silence fell and tension rose. Everyone was frozen and holding their breath as we all watched Jackson. I was about to relax when Jackson suddenly started rocking back and forth slowly. "What are you doing, stupid?" demanded Mr. Delaware. Concern for Jackson filled me, and I hurried over to him, shooting the substitute teacher a glare. "Leave him alone!" I yelled. His eyes narrowed on me, and he suddenly grabbed my arm in a bruising grip. I shrieked in surprise and pain as he dragged me toward the classroom door, shoving me into the hallway. "Go to the office!" he yelled in my face. "Now!" He didn't need to tell me again. I turned and ran until I reached the administration office. I burst inside out of breath. "Help," I said. "Please. Our teacher is hurting one of my classmates." Principal Harding came out of her office looking concerned. She took one look at my arm, and her gaze darkened. "What happened?" she asked gently. I told her the whole story, and her face paled. "We need to get his backup earbuds," she said. "I keep a pair in my desk." I stared at her. "He's not faking this condition?" I asked in a small voice. She glared at me. "No, we have doctor's notes and proof of his condition," she said coldly. "Even if he is faking, this is not how you should handle things." She was pissed as we headed back to the classroom with the earbuds in her hand. We arrived in a classroom that was pure chaos. My jaw dropped as I watched Jackson, quiet kid Jackson, lift a desk over his head and toss it at the back wall where a few students were hiding. They screamed and scrambled away from the wall before the desk could hit them. Principal Harding cursed quietly and rushed toward Jackson, placing a calming hand on his shoulder. She put the earbuds back in his ears and it was like a switch was flipped. He calmly went back to his desk, the only one left upright, and started doodling again like nothing happened. Mr. Delaware crawled out from under his desk, face red with anger. "I want that little brat expelled," he snapped. Principal Harding spun around to face him. "You're fired," she said coldly. "I already know the whole story and what you did. I won't have my teachers bullying the students. Get your things and get out." Everyone was pretty shaken up about what happened, but we still cheered when Mr. Delaware grabbed his briefcase and stormed out of the classroom.